Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Alchemist and The Oracle, a space where we engage in spiritualized conversations that deepen understanding, inspire transformation, and spark meaningful dialogue about life's most profound truths. That was a lot. I am Nicole of The Oracle, and as always, I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Warrioress Ardashir RN, also known as The Alchemist. So welcome. Today we are going to be talking about the sacred power that flows through Black women, through our DNA, our connections to the divine, and how it shows up in the world. So,
yes.
First off, I'm curious to know for you, when you think of being a Black woman, how would you define it? What is a Black woman? What does being a Black woman mean for you? The truth of it, from your perspective.
That's a hugely deep question. Just go back a little bit. When I go back and look at my journey, nobody ever said what it was to be, what it was like to be Black or what it meant to be Black. A Black woman growing up, you observe your ancestors, your grandmothers, your mother. I know my grandmother was a very powerful Black woman. And so was my mother. She had a lot of attributes of her. So for me, looking today, I guess 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, my answer would be different. Would be the power, the soul power that we have as women, especially when it comes to owning our power and the change that we can make in the world. So walking that is understanding how to connect with your divine femininity, having nothing to do with the female part, but the divine femininity and the power that we possess as women, but more so as a Black woman. What I see as me as a Black woman, as a woman that has the ability to have endured and continue to endure the things that most cultures would not survive. In the essence of how we approach life. And then as a Black woman, for me, I see the source of from even my ancestors is the forgiving source of the Blackness that we are, and what I've seen and what I've heard, and then how we served and how I've served as a Black woman, which is actually ran down in our family. Of service and the power it is to do to serve even after
servitude.
Even after you just keep it around, even after abuses, it just is what it is, right? And to and to smile through it all. That's the sacred power
that Black
of what I see as the Black.
Yeah. So that's such a hard question. I know I asked you.
It is. I said it was. I know it's deep.
It's a hard question to ask because I think it's like threefold. There's a threefold answer. I think there's what being a Black woman is from our innate design, our spiritual truth. I think in God's eye, we are deeply loved and divinely purposeful. I look at us as like a temple of light because of our melanin production. You know, I talked a little bit about that, I think the last episode. And I'll go a little bit more in detail about it. Maybe not this episode, but maybe a couple coming up. But and then there's the one from our lineage, you know, like our ancestors, our ancestral line, and I think that one is more of duality. It's the duality of us knowing that we come from this lineage that is that soul expression of how, you know, connected we are to God, how God created us to be, how he knows we are, our power, our innate power. And then it splits off to how society expects us to be. I think that's about it.
That's be. It. Mm-hmm.
And with that, you know, it's created a level of strength and I think like beauty of finding the joy within the pain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it creates it creates this power that we have as well. And it's all that, and then it's just this weight that we carry from societal expectations, you know, systemic oppression, and just the stereotypes that have come out of that too. So I know I asked you to answer it, and I feel like I'm just kind of fumbling my words because it's hard for me to define it because I feel in my body, I know that I am wonderfully created.
Mm-hmm.
And that wonderful creation was birthed into a world that knew it, that took advantage of it and wanted to bottle it up and consume it. And I have that memory. And I also have the memory of, you know, my ancestors before me that knew that too.
Mm-hmm.
And the challenge of how do you embody that in a world that picks it apart?
Mm-hmm.
There's a weightiness to like defining it is where.
Well, you mentioned something. I'm trying to pull up something that brought up by one of our other warriors in reference to this. And it's just crazy how things show up, and they are that, which was talking about how we have to be in the world. And I kind of may want to read it as soon as I can find it. And that essence that was always known, because I hate to go back to a certain time frame, but
go there because it's still with us. We still carry it with us, and it's not that far removed because it's that systemic oppression that is still in place. It just it's adjusted to the times, right?
Well, it is what it is. So the whole conversation when we were talking about melanin and skin color and the whole thing that we've had within our own culture about my complexion or yours, or even the deeper melanin complexion and that nature, and the discussion about
colorism.
That colorism is just as like, as a child, you don't know anything about that. Oh, this doggone. Until somebody makes you aware of it. And so I went back, and a couple of our people have posted our elementary school pictures, and I had to go back and look and see. and I feel that I was treated so differently, not in a good way. But this whole colorism, so it's going back to the power we had when we had the the master come and enforce themselves, and obviously for some reason they had no problems
rape. Let's
coming.
just call it what it is. They
raping a
rape
black
them.
woman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I like to just keep it real and, keep it
real.
point. So rape is exactly what it is. Can't soften that.
And it shouldn't be softened.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, it's just exactly what that is. And now that I want to find something, it don't want to show up. Probably because I'm going too fast.
What I might.
I'll
what are
find
you
it,
looking?
but
Maybe it's.
Well, it shows a woman in front of, leading a conversation like in a boardroom.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout her mind she's going, am I speaking slang? Am I doing this?
That code
Am I articulating myself all right? Am I doing it? Am I doing this? All this trying to just try to be
assimilate in that
we're not.
environment.
Yeah. Yes.
I've done that.
Yes.
I've done that so many times. So one example I'll share it. Like I remember myself doing this. I was on the phone talking to like a really good friend of mine. I was in my office and I'm on the phone and I had my door closed. And then, we just had like a really good conversation. And I got off the phone and I had to hop on a call. So I get on the call and I'm still in that mode. And I'm like, wait, no. I need to adjust how I'm speaking. Like, it's like, and I breathe and I just switched into that tone of voice and that mode of presenting. And in that moment, I caught myself thinking like, this is ridiculous. This is so ridiculous that I have to do that. That I can't be myself because it's not like that's not considered unprofessional. I think it's not that. But
right.
I knew that I had to adjust the tone of my voice. I had to speak more softer and
I found it.
Versus like, girl, what you do? Like that's just how sometimes I talk with my friend. It's just impassioned and like, oh my God, can you believe? I can't say that on the call with, and I'm also on that call, I was the only woman on the call. All of them white men.
Right. This is the title of it. Says, what it feels like to be a black woman in the workplace. And so it's going through, am I coming off too confident? They won't like that. Yeah. Smile so you don't come across as angry. Am I speaking too much with my hands? And the hands is a very good expression because I use mine. Do I look or sound aggressive? Am I using slang? Am I articulating every syllable? This is stuff that go through your mouth with you.
That part I've yes. You have to every word. So let's talk about this right here. Let's talk about this right here. Very different.
All right.
Right. Or be like, girl. One time I had to catch myself. I was going to say, girl. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
She's not your girl.
I mean, this whole thing, I'm all about transformation.
That's so crazy.
But having to transform and not be your natural self for the sake of that, and we won't even get into the hair thing, that'll be later, but how more about walking in our authenticness regardless, to the world, because we have adapted and it looks like we have generations, and I'm choosing not to adapt to anything but being the essence of who I am. That innate beingness, and you just have to, people have to adapt. The world has to adapt. We don't need to adapt anymore. We've adapted for God, how many thousands of years? I mean, you know.
Yeah. Do I say this? Okay, I'm going to say something that's going to sound extremely controversial. But when I was in college, I went to HBCU, and part of their curriculum, and a lot of HBCUs have a requirement that's very different than other schools. You usually have to take a course on Black history. And so I had to actually take 3. There was Black history. There was one, I think, on it was, I don't even remember the name of it, but it went deep. It was a deep one.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure.
In those classes, I remember listening to my teacher, and one of the things I appreciate about going to HBCU is they encourage open thoughts and to like push back. Well, at least the teachers that I have, because I can't say they're all like that. I think it does have to do with the teacher. And so he really did encourage us to think and to push the narrative and to be to say the uncomfortable, quiet part out loud. So he was kind of talking about slavery, and I was sitting there kind of listening, and I just kind of had this aha moment of the fact, like, why, because I was like, why are white people, and I'm generalizing, why are white people who, and I'm gonna categorize them, white people who are threatened by Black people. That's what I'm gonna say, because not all white people are like that. They're just not, because I have
true.
I have white friends.
Yeah.
But those that are threatened by Black people, Black women specifically, right? And what I realized is that they have really cultivated and pushed us to evolve in such a way that we're smarter, because we had to be. Like, you apply for a job and you have like, oh, okay, well, for you as a Black person, you need to have a degree, versus someone who's not Black. High school diploma is all they need. So innately, I'm smarter than this other person from the standpoint I have more knowledge. And so that they put these barriers in front of us, these requirements in front of us, in a way that has created a race of people that are, I don't want to say better, but much more resilient. We're much more inventive. We're much more intuitive, because we had to be. They pushed us to be that.
Oh, that's true.
And so it's so funny, because now they're seeing the fruits of their labor playing out, and you see this powerful group of individuals who were pushed to access that. And I think the ironic part about it, I'm also kind of reminded of, is that they have that too. It just wasn't activated within them. We had no choice. It was 100% activated within us, and they're threatened by it. They're threatened by it. Why would I be threatened by it? Looking at someone that has the capacity to learn and to think and to innovate and to have this connection to spirit and their intuition that guides them in such seemingly miraculous ways, and in our power to create and do things on such a high level. They're threatened by it. They know that we have that innately.
And to mother.
They know that we have that. So that was something that came up for me, is like they made us become our greatest versions of ourselves, and they're threatened by that. Versus, because he always had us like, okay, like, do the two sides, right? Versus them using that same energy and doing that for themselves. Just think if we had like everyone on the same level of empowerment, like, this world would look so much different. we would be in the Jetson time frame. Things would be flying, and people would be in communities that with like diversity. We would need DEI initiatives because it's innate in our nature to see the power and the purpose and seeing the value in having diverse perspectives in a very diverse ecosystem that we live in. Like we live, like take the people out. This is like the diversity here and how they're able to fine tune. Like that's where the power is. That's where the power is.
I mean, I was in the car or whatever, and I mean, this has came up more than once about how come the world cannot be where we are collectively connected, and it would be led wise. We need more feminine energy actually running the world, and to have a Black woman so to uplift and empower, just like some people had. I like Michelle Obama actually. And her message for all and the power, and to just have been in that position was just so like dynamic. And just reading something else dealing with her, and then looking at, we will always have the ups and the downs, but why do we have to have the division and the chaos and the drama, as if the world wouldn't be cool if we could see and understand how aligned and the oneness that we are.
Why do you think we don't have that?
It's all about control.
Why the control? I'm just curious. I don't think we've ever really have had this conversation. Why are they trying to control us like this?
Oh, well.
As she giggles. She's like, I can't talk about those things.
I mean,
secret clearance. I think you secretly are part of the CIA. Just saying.
It's just like the wars. It's just like the stuff going on over yonder. It's like, why do you have to infiltrate and be ruler? Who do you want that to? The whole thing that came out of my mouth, you don't want that for you. So why do you think it's okay?
It's so sad because you said the war, and I was like, which one is she talking about? There's so many going on.
Well, the big one.
Which big one?
Russia.
That's not even the biggest one.
Well, that's not the biggest one. It's the one you hear more about. But you're right.
Why do we hear about that war more often? Because it's people with less melanocytes that are active. Let's be honest. I'll let you guys look that up to know what I mean. Versus this 15, I think it's going on 15-year war. That's going, like, there's several wars actually going on in Africa.
Yeah.
And people are, oh my God, that is so weird. I raised my hand.
You sure did.
I wouldn't do that if I was like in my old corporate job. And my old corporate job, I always held my hands when I would talk because I'm very like, and it disarms people. I was just curious to know like your take on why they're trying, like why pushing this narrative forward. But I think
subservient. People will say, I'm like, no, just a no.
It's just sad to think about that narrative that's being pushed forward, which is why we do what we do. This is why we have this channel. Because my nature is not one to like, it may appear that I enjoy doing this. It may appear that I'm like, yes, this is so much fun. And like, let's go into action. And what empowers me is the hope that it will empower other people to start to empower themselves, empower their life forward. But I'm not
to go into like deep thought and to question things.
Yes, question us too. Like question everything that we've said too.
Because I have to go look, a few things and see how it relates, like the colorism relates to me. There's other things that relates to me because of my experience and what I've had being a Black woman in my body. Through the military, the things that went on there, from the hair and being told, well, they'll treat you better if you do something with my hair. I'm like, what's wrong with my hair? So I had to pull up my graduation picture from basic. I had a pretty cool fro. It wasn't the intent to have one, but I couldn't get quote unquote product in. But
the hair debate I don't understand.
It's deaf. Oh my God. That's a serious subject.
I understand that it exists. I understand its existence, but my mind is like, why is this a thing?
But like, I had our own thing.
Yeah, I know.
Even from childhood. I mean,
but why is that a thing? Why should it's just so curious, the things that the narratives they push for us to get distracted in around the things that we cannot change about our innate design. We can't do nothing about our hair. And, we were talking about Leviticus, unnatural, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go there? We want to go there. We're laying with unnatural ways with our hair.
Yeah, there's so many chemicals. Actually, one of the Warriors just posted something, and I think, I go check, and sometimes it's good to go check it out for yourself. Some of the chemicals being used for our natural braiding, and it's not good. It's just not good. We just need to grow our hair, do that, the whole thing that it takes, and the chemicals are destroying and lessening our lives and body. That's how I put it, because people say, well, we're going to die. Yes, I'm going to leave body, but mine, they says I have longevity. I actually have longevity in the genes, but my soul says, yes, you have this, but I still need to do certain things. I just can't eat any old thing. I cannot hydrate. I cannot do some of those things, because I've been in places as a woman having, things that nobody know that I've been through to see me walk, definitely ill, walking damn near bedridden, all that. So I don't like the way that felt. And God said, no, you're here for a reason. So step into that reason. But you have to overcome a lot of how you've been domesticated in the world. And even as a Black woman, we've been domesticated to be this way, that way, to try to look this way, to try to act this way. And then the hair supposed to look a certain kind of way. Just to know, the only difficulty was having the natural products, like certain things to put in, and all I'm using is shea butter now. So, and a little some other stuff, but to just keep it real, to go through and look at what I went through just to be in my skin, or to walk in my skin, let's put it that way. To walk the world in it was a lot. Playing sports, how's it going to look? And we still have issues. I think we have gorgeous hair. I mean, we all have different textures. And come to find out, when I think about it, looking as a Black woman, and then, having a certain busing situation to have here and to have a connection, I found out that what I thought was good hair ain't really all that. I found out that these people have to have a detangle. So you learn, these things, but still, and yet you find out this, and then you continue to do that until you stand in and understand that you just need to stand in how you were created in this world. The hair thing, people, I hate the word nappy. I don't like it. Just put it out there. Because I don't like the connotation in which it has, in which is brought.
Yeah, I get the connotation.
In that culture, I don't, because that's not the case. We have a thicker version. We have to find ways to
but it is
be
nappy.
Able to do it.
But
I don't know.
Whatever.
Oil, kinky.
But it
I
is.
might even do
but
kinky,
hear me.
because one of the other ones said that.
But you just said you hit the nail on the head, the key distinction, right? It is nappy, right? It's how they've attached this negative connotation to the word. We have so many words, like being loud is considered unnerving as a Black woman, right? But a man does it all the time. And then it's like, oh, he's powerful and assertive. Like,
yes.
So I think my challenge to anyone listening is, how do you push forward the narrative? Because I see this, and I can own it. I've had my moments where I was pushing the narrative for other Black women that I, especially in the work environment, be like, girl, you're doing too much. You need to calm down. Versus understanding that the oppressiveness of that, it quiets you. And that's why I don't work in corporate.
Suppress the voice.
I don't work in that job anymore, because it just was so, my soul was
my voice being suppressed.
I don't think your soul can die, but
it's forever.
My humanness was just so overwhelmed systemically. I was just very overwhelmed. But I don't know.
No, we were just talking about the natural essence of being about, and that comes from within. That comes with tapping with your God self, or whoever you choose to call your creative being. Beingness. I choose God because I'm not going to let the world decide it, because I know whom God is to me. And even I know that God hasn't been the entity, the spirit, the everlasting one that's been beating me up. It wasn't God, it was humanity, and so a lot of people, I have favorite movies that they say, well, God let go. I said, God ain't letting nothing go on. God is weeping with us. We are making the choices to do A, B, and C without connecting with the core essence. I mean, you're talking about the core of who you are. That innate connection. When we talk about innate, somebody talk about innate words, laws, stuff that's been around since before creation. I mean, before humanity anyway, before humanity was created by the creator. There's a certain force, a certain path that we as Black women, our naturalness and how we do things, going from just about anything, from cooking to you name it, that little bit of spice, that little bit of life we put into what we do in the food.
You know why we got there, right? You know how we got there. I used to work at the museum in the town that I lived, my favorite job. And during Black History Month, they would have speakers come in. I remember this guy come in, and he had like these really moving photographs from like back in the day. It's just impressive that they've maintained access to that they're able to like have and be able to show it. But the thing he was saying is how we use spices and things like that because of, we had to learn how to flavor things because we were given like parts that didn't have any flavor.
There you go. Yeah, there it is. That's it.
It's that innovativeness. Again, we were pushed to be innovative. We were pushed to like take the scraps.
That's true.
It's not even that.
That's so true.
We took the scraps of the scraps.
Yeah.
Scraps of the scraps. And we were able to turn it into something that was palatable, that was enjoyable. So that's where that came from. I'm curious to know.
Yes, I talk about that all the time. Sometimes that stuff just come out in conversations. That's why it's like,
we do know, but again, it's just reminding me that when we are forced under pressure,
that's a form of transformation too.
It's like we've become, like, it makes you stronger. Think of like how a diamond is formed. It's under pressure.
Yes,
extreme pressure in
my favorite.
And I feel like
it's the month of April.
That's what Black women really are, like a diamond.
Mm-hmm.
And you have different levels of diamonds that I think is so interesting. You know, you have like cut and clarity.
That's correct.
I find that so disrespectful of a diamond, because it's like, how dare you judge a diamond? Like, it's a diamond.
That one is better than the other. I know. I've seen some. That's like, oh my God, up under the microscope.
Poor quality. That's poor quality.
I know. Diamonds are my favorite thing. I'm an April.
Oh my God, they're so pretty. And I think because
they are.
I also love crystals, and a diamond is considered a mineral, a gem.
Yes.
Even the grading of other crystals, like, oh, this is AAA quality and this is low grade quality.
I know. That's what they do on this one place where I get some stuff.
And I get it.
And then the cost
I get it. I do get it because it has to do with the mineral composition. You know, like that's what it is. But the same thing, I feel like we can like make the parallel. The same thing is done with Black women. It's like we have this scale that society puts us on, and I feel like it's a scale that innately dishonors who we are. We don't need to be on the scale, because a diamond is still a diamond, regardless of if you cut it this way, if you shine it that way. You know, maybe if you harvest it during a certain cycle, it may have just a different clarity, or, you know, the clarity. I don't know how they determine clarity, but depending on your environment, I'm sure that influences the clarity. But it's still a diamond, right?
But the thing of it is they're determined. It's like we're under this microscope.
Yes.
So it's the microscope thing, because I've seen one diamond. Oh God, I can't even think the name of it. Up under the microscope, this thing. I mean, the way the light hit it was amazing, but to see it up under the microscope is that crazy cool. But like you said, it's still a diamond. So they do certain things to put it at that. So you got this $10,000 diamond, the $5,000 diamond is supposed to be less than. I'm like, $5,000 diamond is a $5,000 diamond. Ain't nothing weak about a $5,000 diamond if it's on your finger. 2,000, you know, I mean,
or $20 diamond.
So is that we're being looked at up under the microscope and being judged this way, from the skin color to the this color to that. And then we won't even talk about the judgment of ourselves, which is a part of that whole deal.
So this is going to be, we're going to continue conversations the entire month about Black women, because it's so layered. So fair warning. How do you feel about that?
That'll be great. That's hardly ever that we get to talk about it and just have, just upfront conversations, and then asking for other people come in, because I was doing some other research and looking at it, because it's a different perspective from different women, regardless to who you are or what you are, maybe I'll overcome, no color, whether you're black, white, this, gay, this and that and the other. We got no time for that. So we are all here on this, and from different perspectives, from women who date women or guys and this and that. There's a whole narrative, and I just caught a podcast or whatever I might be looking, where there's Black women speaking on different subject matter. So I think this is a great thing. Because when you said, going to HBCU, I need to go visit one. I have not been. That wasn't even known. I was just going to traditional colleges.
What do you mean by go visit one?
Go visit the campus. I haven't been.
It is
the campus.
I was watching Drumline with my mom, and my mom didn't go to HBCU.
Oh my God.
And everything, it was like I was transported back to college time.
I
And I was just
bet.
like, it's like, oh my
I
God.
bet.
It's just,
I love that movie. And all then that surrounds the HBCU that is now, letting us know, because I didn't know about those colleges. I didn't. I
yeah,
didn't
yeah. And
for a long time,
I think,
unfortunately.
one of the things, so I really could have gone to any college probably in the United States because, the high school I went to, that was the point of me being in that high school. It was the path to college. And so I was doing like college level courses by
yes.
like my
Yes.
junior year.
Yes.
So I decided to go to HBCU because I was tired of that code switching that I was constantly having to do because I was in schools that were predominantly white.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
And so I remember looking at colleges and just being instantly exhausted, like, oh my God, I can do this for 4 more years. And I remember watching A Different World and seeing how
it's on Netflix. I gotta watch it again.
Seeing how you had like different Black people and they were all cool together. And that is exactly how my college experience was. It was so nice to just go to school and to realize and to recognize that there's different type of Black people. And and I was even challenged in finding my place within the Black community where I was because I was so different than most of the Black people.
I can feel that. Yes.
And it was nice to be in a place where I felt like I could breathe. I didn't have to worry about code
how you spoke
as much. Yes. It just was like a safe place to breathe. I just felt like I was able to breathe. I was able to catch my breath. It was more of that, catch my breath, because I feel like up until like 18, I've been holding my breath for like breathing very shallowly. And then college, I was just like, oh my God, I can breathe. I can breathe. And they gave us tools and they empowered us and they told us about Black history and it was this unapologetically Black celebration daily that was poured into me. And that has been the biggest gift for me at that time. And my niece, she's biracial and she decided that she wanted to go to HBCU, and my brother went to HBCU too, as well. And I felt her in her wanting to go there because she just wanted to like catch her breath.
Yeah.
Exhale. And the reminder that like it's not even exhaling, it's catching your breath, because I feel like you've been holding your breath for so long and you're just able to kind of like, it's like you're catching up to being able to breathe.
I get it.
Yeah.
I feel that. I'm going through stuff in my head.
That's me. I think for some people it is. They've just been waiting to exhale their entire life. For
me, I held my breath for over 20 years.
That's a lot, though.
Even longer. I mean, girl. I mean, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
We're going to continue this conversation. We have to end today's episode because, we have a life. So this one is going to be, this episode is shorter than most of them, but there's a lot of good things in there. Anything you want to say closing out this episode? Warrioress, Ardashir, RN. Shout out to the Black woman behind you too. Like,
oh yeah, she really good. She dope. Oh, I love that.
I love the hat. I love the hat and the necklace. And the braids.
Yeah, I won't be wearing the braids. That's sweet. I was like, how can I sleep with them? But women do it all the time. It just ain't the one.
It's part of
I
some
love her
black
though. She
black
is.
women's resilience, strength. I tell you, we got a strong neck, okay, from all that neck rolling. We can roll our neck because of our hair.
That's a good one.
That was a stereotype. Sorry.
I love my cry. Yeah, you did. Yeah. I got pissed. I got hair. I just ain't long. I'm good now. But my whole thing is just to stand empowering and continue to transform, because I'm all about that. Continue to get. I put back on my girl, which you always tease me about. She ain't smart yet. But Alexa. Oh, don't say nothing, Alexa. She
doesn't talk to me anymore.
Well, that's because I done toned her down on some stuff, but I reinitiated
to me
about her coming to me 3 times a day, saying get to know myself better. So it's about getting to know myself better each and every day, as the woman that I'm becoming, as the woman that I am, as the Black woman I'm transforming each and every day to stand into unapologetically. Now, having this conversation to me years ago would have been
yeah, taboo, overwhelming.
It would have been taboo, yeah. That, and then I got a shirt that's like, has nothing to do. When we've had conversations about the world, I mean, they decided that we would be separate when we really not. So I have this shirt I wear, then it's like unapologetically Black. Just be unapologetically who you are.
I'm apologizing for your innate nature and design. God did not make no mistakes. Don't make no mistakes about it.
Yeah.
My uncle used to say that. That's from my great Black uncle, Willie Earl.
Willie Earl. Oh God, that is country. Well, my grandmother's was Lily Mae.
I mean, most white people did live in the country. It was all country at one point, okay?
She was born in Mississippi, but she did not like Lily Mae together. That's kind of cool, Lily Mae.
I tell you, Earl, May, those were like, I know so many something Mays, so many middle Mays. Willie Mae.
Wow.
My mother's name is Willie Mae. All right, Warriors.
Really? Yeah.
Yes. Say goodbye.
Oh. Much love, y'all.
Bye. See you next episode. Peace. Oh, and if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, leave a comment down below.
Yes, we want to hear
feedback. How did you like this episode? And stay tuned, because we're going to continue this conversation in the month of March, which was all about women. But we're going to take it from the perspective of being Black women, because that's what we are, and that's my perspective. That's her perspective. It's our lived experience. All right. Yes, thanks so much for watching, and we hope to see you in a future video. Thanks for being in conversation with me, Warrioress, Artist Share RN.
Hey, it's a blast all the time.